Hello, I'm Steve Harvey, and thanks as always for tuning in. We appreciate the time that you take to watch. My guest today is the somewhat larger-than-life character of Mr. Eric Kleiman. Now, for many years, Eric was the public face of Continental Airlines, helping, along with others, to create the award-winning Business First concept, now with lie-flat beds. Suddenly, earlier in the year, we heard the news that Eric had left Continental to pursue, as they say on these occasions, new challenges. Now, in his first interview since leaving, Eric talks about his time, the years he spent at Continental, the circumstances of his departure, and what the future holds. So please welcome Eric Kleiman. Eric Kleiman, no less. Welcome to the PM interview. Thank you for agreeing to take part.
Mr. Harvey, anything for you, of course.
It's been a while since our paths have crossed. How are you? How's things?
Everything is just doing great. I have no complaints. I am enjoying life and having a lot of fun, meeting a lot of people, acquainting myself with a lot of folks that I haven't seen in a while. Even yourself, Steve, you know, we used to work quite closely together, and just be able to talk to you on the phone every once in a while, and now, of course, to see you. It's just great to be, you know, back in the fold with the family.
Now, many people watching us now will know you from your many years at Continental. I mean, how many years were you there for?
It was 23 years, and I got to tell you, it was a hell of a ride. 23 years in the airline business. I think that counts for maybe 40 or 50 years in any other business, because the airline business we know all so well is just chock full of challenges and a lot of fun. And it was a great ride for 23 years, and it went by fast, that's for sure.
You rose through the ranks rapidly, but what did you join as?
Yeah, I actually started at Continental as a reservation agent. So taking phone calls from customers to book reservations. That's when the airline business got in my blood. And just actually a few months later, I started, after my shift, I would go down to the sales office and help them answer the phones. And that was the foot in the door I was looking for to get back into sales and marketing, which was an area I'd been involved in other industries. And from that, went up through the ranks in sales and marketing, and ultimately became the director of product marketing, which was the job I had for really the last 13 years, which was the absolute best job I could ever imagine having. And it was a wonderful, wonderful experience.
You achieved many, many things during that time, but looking back on that time, what was the thing you're most proudest of?
The thing I was probably most proud of at my career at Continental, other than, of course, meeting you. That was clearly the shining moment of the career. But putting that aside, I got to think it was the last project I worked on, which was basically the 3-year gestation of the flatbed seat for Continental Airlines. And that was launched actually in October of 2009, and was really kind of, in my opinion, was the crowning jewel on my career at Continental, is to take a project like that from concept to initial designs all the way through production and to actually see it on an aircraft. In fact, Steve, the last flight I took as a Continental employee, which was in November of 2009, was on the first aircraft that had been installed with the new seats, and I flew to Tokyo from Houston and turned around 2 hours later and flew it back. And that was to experience the new seat in a real aircraft environment with real customers, real crews working a real flight, and that to me was the culmination of my career. And second to that probably was the launching of the DirecTV product with Live TV, which was a major, major enhancement for Continental's product. And both of those things happened, launched in 2009, and those were probably my two biggest accomplishments, if you will.
There's been a lot of speculation in the industry when news came out that you were leaving Continental. Lots of people had their own theories. Do you want to use this as an opportunity to set the record straight?
Sure, absolutely. From my perspective, I had reached a relatively high level at Continental. Really didn't see myself going any further at Continental. And in a corporate environment, really one of the best ways to improve your salary, to improve your position, is to move to a different department. And I really had no desire to move to a different department because I had what I thought at the time, of course, is the best job there is. And so after 23 years, you put up with a lot of political challenges, as you would with any large organization. Couple that with the projects I had just launched and that I didn't see myself going anywhere further at Continental. It was just kind of time to move on.
Take us back to that final day. I mean, it must have been very emotional for you when you packed up your office and closed your door for the last time.
It's tough. It's tough. In fact, I actually physically packed up the office on a weekend when no one was there, because after 23 years, how do you say goodbye? You don't. There's no easy way.
What did the management at home think about it?
The management at home, yeah, the family, they were very supportive. Right, and so without support of your family, you're not going to get anything done. I think the best line, though, was my 8-year-old daughter, who at the time, when I told her I was no longer going to be working at Continental, she said, "Oh, okay, well, I'll come up with some jobs for you to do in the future." And her #1 job suggestion to me was to work at McDonald's. Family support's important, and that was good to have. Absolutely.
Now, I know you're still in touch with a number of colleagues at Continental. What's the feeling within the company now about the merger, as it happens, with United?
Listen, change is always difficult, and the realities of the airline business is that consolidation, such as a Continental United merger, are inevitable for both companies to be able to survive. That's what obviously the senior management team felt for long-term survivability, and people are concerned. People are wondering, will they have a job? Will it be in Chicago? Will it be in Houston? What do they do? It's just natural. I mean, who wouldn't be thinking of that? For a lot of people, it's probably a wonderful opportunity. Other people have to kind of decide, is this the right move, or is this the time to look at doing something else in their life? And for those that we'll have to move on to something else. My only advice and suggestion is, there is a life out there after the airline business, and a company and a job doesn't define you as a person. You define yourself as a person. So you just gotta, move on if that's the case.
Talking of moving on, you've just launched a new enterprise, Kleiman Enterprises. What's it all about? Yeah,
it's Kleiman Enterprises. I take credit for that very creative name too. I actually had started talking to some folks about doing some consulting. I've got 23 years of airline experience across a wide variety of disciplines, from sales and marketing to IFE to product marketing, product development, everything. So started talking to a couple of folks about doing some consulting, which consulting is great. You're basically getting paid for your opinions and your ideas, which I'm glad I don't have to pay my wife for her opinions and ideas, because that would cost me a lot of money. But I started doing that, and someone had told me, try out consulting, see if you like it. It's not for everybody. And I quickly found that I enjoyed the lifestyle, enjoyed the flexibility that comes from that. So the pressures of having a traditional 9-to-5 job have just now switched over to the pressures of running your own business. However, running your own business, you have more control of your schedule, more control of your destiny. And in this day and age, while there's no guarantees, no matter what you're doing in life, it's now I can kind of control things a little bit more. So as I started talking to some folks, with consulting, you've got to get your name out there. So I wanted to, start putting the word out that I was very open to project work and doing some other things, taking all my experience, maybe helping out an airline, maybe helping out a service provider, a studio, other suppliers in the industry or even outside the industry. My first contract that I landed was working with a client that's not even in the airline and IFE world, and it's completely different from what I've been doing, but it's still in the customer experience and product world, which is something that I know quite well.
We're recording this interview at the Apex conference here in Long Beach. The association's changing a little bit. It's rebranded, renamed, refocused. What's your thought on that?
I think it's a good move. I think refocusing the energy of the former World Airline Entertainment Association to what we're doing now, with really looking at the total passenger experience, is something that it was inevitable to happen. In fact, in my most previous experience at Continental Airlines, I was dealing with the entire passenger experience, not only in the aircraft, but also the experience on the ground. I think this allows formerly WAA to really grow and to change with the times, and in essence to be a more viable organization, which ultimately means they're able to support the airlines. It still comes down to supporting the airlines, all right? And that's the important thing. And now airline divisions that were working on in-flight entertainment before now are starting to marry in connectivity and marrying in-seat power and everything else in that overall experience. So I think it's absolutely the right move.
It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Steve, always a pleasure, sir.
Thanks very much indeed.
Always.
Up next on the PME interview, Steve Harvey will talk to another interesting and informative guest. That's the PME interview. Don't miss it.